AITA for forcing my daughter's school to change the rules. Before you all jump to calling me a Karen, let me explain. So my daughter, 17F Clem, goes to a school that has recently changed its policy on phones. Instead of getting it back at the end of the day, the school keeps it for 4 days, not including weekends or holidays, and then a guardian has to come collect it after school. We were not made aware of this new policy. We live a good hour and a half away from school. Well, on Thursday my daughter came home late and said she had to walk home because the school had taken her phone. Bus tickets are on their phones, and buses aren't taking money to avoid contact. I asked her what happened and she said she was checking her texts in the toilets when a female teacher came in and confiscated it because she was in a no-phone area. That same night I contacted her school and set up a meeting with the head. He told me the school realized taking phones for the day wasn't a big enough deterrent, so now they take them for 4 days. I was floored. My daughter had to walk home, in the dark and cold, because the school held her phone overnight. I told them what my daughter had told me and they confirmed that's what happened. Told them that I have no issue with them taking the phone for 4 days at school, but they need to give her phone back to her after school so she can get home safely. After a bit of debating, they finally agreed. When I told my husband, he rolled his eyes at me and called a Karen. He told me that Clem should walk home as punishment, despite the high crime rate in our area. AITA. Edit to clarify some things. 1. Clem did tell the school about her ticket on her phone and went to the main office for the £1.20 bus fare as a last resort, but the school wouldn't give it to her, and buses aren't taking cash as of recent. 2. Neither the students or parents were made aware of this rule at the start of the school year. Many kids just assumed rules were the same as last year. 3. I don't get home until 5:30ish, but my phone is always on in case of emergencies. My other 2 children did not let me know about Clem not being back until after I got home, which is when I called the police. She got home at around 6:15 p.m. I was told by police to stay home with my kids. 4. My husband has since apologized for his stupid statement. If anything else needs clearing up, I'll add another edit. 5. We're not changing schools because she's doing her A-levels and only has around 7 months of school left. It'll cause more hassle than it's worth. 6. No, Clem could not get a taxi. We don't have taxis where we live, only Ubers, which you need to order on your phone. Also, don't waste your breath of use/visible piano 0. They seem like a massive shitposter on a power trip. Also, the reason why I'm not actually punishing Clem is because she was in a toilet cubicle when a female teacher came in and looked through the gap. She claimed that she was looking for a younger student who was at risk to themselves and others and saw Clem in the cubicle on her phone. Don't worry, Clem wasn't using the toilet, but it's still creepy. This is SS of a PDF containing the info on the phone policy. We got this last night. Had to cut out the first page as it had private info on it. And although it said 2 days in the letter, it would have been 4 days because of the weekend. NTA. Fuck that. Listen to any true crime podcast for more than 3 minutes and you'll realize almost every little kid being abducted and murdered comes from some little shit like this where they can't take their normal route. The school is putting children at very high risk with this dumbass policy. And yes, it's a completely dumbass policy. I can understand taking the phone away from them in class. But if they're in the bathroom or on a break, they should be able to use the phone, within reason. I agree. I would be on the school's side if she was on her phone in lesson, but in the toilet? Come on now. NTA. I'm surprised the school had the authority to take phones for longer than school hours. Definitely when they must be aware that children use their phones for bus tickets. How about if they were in a genuine emergency situation outside of school? You were completely in your right to do what you did. Clem told me they told her friend that they could photocopy the bus ticket off her phone, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of in my life. So they definitely know about the tickets on phones, but they don't care. NTA, and your husband is a damn fool. So, I'd be pretty angry if a school thought it had the right to confiscate the expensive property I bought for my children even when she's outside of school, and made me go out of my way to get it. That's just inconsiderate. Edit. Good on your husband for unfooling himself. The confiscation crap used to drive me nuts when I was in school. Got a laptop from my aunt as a birthday present during my senior year, and used it at school, because that's what she bought it for, haha, and this was before laptops in schools were common at all, so naturally it got attention. Once in a study hall, a teacher attempted to confiscate it for some imagined slight or another, and I straight up told her, "I will put it away, but the only way you are taking this $3,000 machine is over my unconscious body." This was after I had a clamshell phone taken and lost by the office, and like hell I was letting that happen to this laptop. NTA. Your husband obviously needs a reality check if he thinks it's appropriate to endanger your child as punishment. Also, it's definitely not legal for a school to confiscate your child's property after school hours. They are not the parent, their purview ends at 3 p.m. AITA for yelling at my sister about her pronoun problem and overreacting. I'm 18F and my older sister is 28F. We've never gotten along, because she's seen as the golden child and gets away with so much. She is still living at home with the parents, while I'm at college now, writing this. She's a preschool teacher and has been for about 3 to 4 years. She loves to tell stories about her classroom experiences, but she's also brought them to the house, and kind of treats me as if I'm one of her school kids. Specifically, she has this, what I call it, problem with pronouns where I apparently won't use them and she'll correct me. We would be eating dinner and I would turn my head to my older brother and ask for the salt, and she'll say no. My name / use your words. She means me to say my brother's name before asking for something, so in her head it would be correct for me to say, "Joe, could you pass me the salt?" And it's not in just these dinner instances, or otherwise I would just tolerate it, but it's also in simple sentences. We'll be talking about Tim, for example, and I would say something like, "Yeah, he's so nice and friendly," and she'll literally stop the conversation, even one where she isn't a part in, and make me say, "Yeah, Tim is so nice and friendly." She'll do this for every time I use a pronoun, you, he, she, they, even when it's confirmed that person identifies as a male / female / other, and when the context is already given, so that I don't have to keep saying the name and can instead just use him, her, they. I've talked to her multiple times about this. It's been going on for about 2 years now, a couple of years after she became a preschool teacher, and have also tried to ask our parents to address it, but lo and behold the golden child gets her way again, and they even think that it's funny when she does this. It finally came to a head in August, before I left for college. I honestly think it was my breaking point. I said, "Holy shit, why are you a preschool teacher if you don't even know how the fuck pronouns work? Stop with your superiority complex and being so condescending, for fuck's sake." They kicked me out. Sister had a lot of influence on this, and I lived with my older brother for the rest of the summer. I've already decided to stay on campus for all of the holidays, and I said so to my brothers to give them a heads up. I'm now legally an adult, 18, and can now make that decision. However, my family values family, which I personally find funny, and everyone flipped out that I wouldn't be there for Thanksgiving and Christmas and are called meat EA, even my brother that took me in when they kicked me out. AITA for not going to holidays when it's supposed to be a time when family comes together. And do you think I'm TA for overreacting to her corrections, as my sister puts it? I just can't anymore. Everyone is making me feel like I'm in the wrong here. Edit. Holy moly, I go study and come back to see that this has blown up. So, my brother let me know that the parents are considering withdrawing their portion of tuition. They're not paying for all of it, only part, if I don't go to the holidays, and so I guess I've kinda been roped into going. It's funny since I literally had to do a virtual module on financial abuse, lol. It's whatever, I've dealt with it for 18 years, I'll just tolerate the few times a year I'll have to deal with them. I'll use the comments from this post to get me through it. Some of you guys are seriously so funny. Thanks to everyone who helped. NTA. That is some super weird behavior from your sister. Does she do it because the thinks using pronouns creates risk of misgendering people? Or does she just think pronouns are rude or something? So odd. NTA, that's obnoxious. I know I have a problem with using pronouns instead of name while telling a story, which is fine because I need to be more specific, but this case she's being a stuck-up She definitely has some sort of superiority complex. I'm sorry about your family because they suck for overreacting and playing favorites. NTA, I would have told her to fuck off much earlier. Then stop talking to her. Time to bring out the grey rock, look up the term, and go no contact. This is not family, this is a toxic mess. Also, adults do not correct adults' grammar. Asking for clarification is okay, but not this. NTA. NTA. We value family, said the people who kicked their child out of their home. Lol. We only value family on our terms, exactly the way we say AITA for quitting my job after not getting a promotion. So I 28 meters have been with my company for 6 years. I make great money, love the company and my colleagues, and intended to spend the rest of my career here, but they overlooked me for a promotion and it changed everything. My immediate manager announced a month ago that he got a promotion to a different office in the group. Cue congratulations, but also excitement, as I also saw this as a great opportunity. I know the job inside out, have great relationships with my colleagues and have the top client earnings by far of anyone, plus the 3 managers I've had have all been promoted from my position. I messaged my manager and our that I wanted to be considered for the position, and received a reply from our acknowledging it. 2 weeks later we're called into the conference room, and introduced to the new manager, no one I knew, never worked for our company before, never worked in our field before, new blood we were told, will shake things up we were told. Afterwards I approached my manager, he says he wasn't even asked for his opinion on his replacement, and sometimes it's just down to the whim of the partners and the relationships that have been cultivated with them. So I concluded I was never going any further here, I'm just someone who can make them a lot of money in the position I'm currently in, no need to move me up. So I contacted an agency and had a new position inside a week, slightly less money and I'm no closer to a management position, but it feels good. But everyone thinks I'm an asshole, old boss, because I'm making him look bad in his last days, as I won't accept the offers they are making. New boss, who hasn't even started yet, has called numerous times, saying I'm sabotaging her from the get-go. And finally my partner, who thinks it's because the new boss is a woman and not about respect, they didn't even interview me. FFS. So AITA. Edit, for some repeated questions. Sorry guys, my inbox has crashed and burned. I'll begin by defending my wife a bit. I did say something sexist, that resulted in her having that opinion. I think she mostly believes that I didn't mean what I said and it was just in a very emotional moment. She made me regret saying it anyway. And I did discuss leaving with her before I did. My new boss has more management experience than me, and it is easily transferable. I've seen her work history, no one would expect me to train her in the job. Her difficulty will be in replacing the revenue I generate in her first 6 months, that's what she is upset about. The offers they are making are purely monetary. I'd prefer a promotion. They avoid the subject. Yes, this was an emotional decision, as someone commented, I threw a tantrum, but at the moment I don't regret it. Edit 2. I made the sexist comment to my wife about the new boss, not to the new boss. NTA. Sometimes it's cheaper to go for an outside hire rather than promote from within. You are expendable to your company. You need the job way more than the job needs you specifically. You didn't agree with their decision and so you bounced. You didn't do it to spite anyone in particular. Your old boss can get as mad as they want, it changes nothing. NTA. Did the same thing. I applied for a trainer role that was absolutely meant to be mine. My center manager, training team and direct manager all told me to apply for it as I was the strongest candidate. I did my interview, nailed it, and never heard anything about it until 3 weeks later when they announced my teammate was being chosen. This girl had never run a class, never volunteered in a committee, and had been at the company for 18 months less than I had, and my performance numbers were better. I asked my manager what had happened and she told me, off the record of course, that they had all pushed for me, but the HR side of the interview refused to sign off on it because I talked too fast. My managers insisted that wasn't how I normally speak. It was a combo of nerves and wanting to finish my presentation in the allotted time, but they refused. I also believe it had to do with me being 5 months pregnant at the time. They didn't want to promote me and then have me go on maternity leave, but couldn't prove it. So when my husband told me 3 weeks before giving birth that he had gotten a promotion that would cover my share of expenses and allow me to be a stay-at-home mom, I took my 9 weeks of sick leave/maternity that I had saved up on my first day back, cleared out my desk and said, later. That is exactly what I feel like doing, but I've got 6 weeks to do. NTA There's 2 reasons they may have chosen not to interview you. 1, they don't see you as management material, and 2, you're too valuable in your current position. Either makes you an asshole for deciding to move on. Given their behavior, it's most likely you were deemed too valuable. The new manager called you to say you were sabotaging her out the gate. That is not someone you want to work for. She seems petty and unprofessional. I think it is both. They are not even blowing smoke up my ass about eventually getting a promotion. To be fair to her, I can understand where she is coming from. I'm not difficult to replace in body, but my numbers are. Work culture has changed to where workers are of little value to their employers. On a drop of a dime they will end your position without any thought, care or appreciation, yet will act surprised and outraged when you show the same consideration. Still think it's a great company. Another comment said they may be trying to diversify management, and I can't deny that it currently is very male and white, but that leaves me with nowhere to go.